Witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie. I hope you're all doing amazing today. I'm Mysticle, and I'll be bringing you the latest in AR and VR news. As usual, you guys have chapters down below to skip to any specific part of this video that you are most interested in. And with that being said, we have some exciting stuff to talk about, so let's get right into it. So as usual, we're gonna begin with some meta news, as apparently Meta has launched a $1.5 million competition for new Quest apps and significant updates. The Meta Horizon Start Developer Competition 2025 will award new Quest apps and significant updates, a total of $1.5 million in 32 prizes of up to $100,000. Meta Horizon Start, originally called Oculus Start years ago, is a program run by Meta that gives VR and MR developers direct access to Meta developer relations staff, as well as a community Discord and exclusive Meta events, advanced technical education, community mentorship, software credits, go-to-market guidance, and more. Now, Meta is running a competition for the Horizon Start program developers to build or significantly update Quest apps across entertainment, lifestyle, and gaming. In case you guys are more interested in the actual prizes that you can get, the article for Upload VR is of course going to be in the description down below. But overall, what you need to know is Meta is giving developers a ton of money to hopefully get their apps off the ground. And as well as that, create more apps for us. Because I hear you guys constantly complaining about the fact that we don't have enough apps. We've got the hardware keeps getting better, but the apps just aren't there. We don't have apps where the gameplay actually lasts long enough to where a lot of you can justify the price even for an application. And a lot of you feel that the apps that we do have are shovelware. Now, while I do not agree with that last one entirely, I think we have a ton of fantastic applications out there, and a lot of them serve different purposes. I do agree that we lack a bunch of AAA titles. Whether we are going to receive this on the Meta Quest, I don't know. I would most certainly prefer it to be on PCVR, where we have a lot more capabilities and a lot more raw power for graphics and things like that. But, you know, Meta is probably not going to do that since they're focusing on the Quest ecosystem, so we have to be happy that we at least get this. Hopefully, we get to see a lot of new applications come from this. You know, if we do, I'll keep you guys posted. Talking about keeping you guys posted, Sadly It's Bradley has been keeping us posted, and the subreddit has recently exploded as very big news has arrived. Apparently, we might be getting Valve Deckard announcements this Wednesday, which is in 2 days. Now, if that isn't exciting news, I don't know what is. This is something we've been waiting years for, and with the recent leaks that have come out about, Valve hopefully releasing in Q4 of 2025, which is now, by the way, everything seems to line up. And how do we know this? Well, Sadly It's Bradley posted on his Discord. I'm just going to flat out say it. I was told by a few sources across a few weeks to keep an eye out this week, more specifically on Wednesday, and it doesn't seem out of question for Valve to choose that day to just announce it. I have no idea, but I get the impression that they will need a week or two to explain the device to people before opening pre-orders anyway. So apparently we might just be getting an announcement Wednesday, but that isn't necessarily when the pre-orders are going to start. Whether this is just a bunch of copium or whether that could actually be the case, well, I don't know. Everything seems to line up. I will keep coping until Wednesday, and hopefully you guys do too. Maybe our combined copium will force release the Valve Deckard to us. But we're not done with Quest just yet, as apparently, according to Luna, some of it might just be for internal usage, but there's a lot of code that suggests Meta is working on some sizable updates to the Horizon OS camera. Some lines mention a multi-view camera and a spatial camera. Now, I do think that the camera needs another overhaul. I know it already had one and it was pretty big, but I think that the camera app inside Quest is just in need of an overhaul in general. I think it could be a lot better. Kind of going off of that, we have Luke Got Bored that posted, I believe this feature has been in development since V78, or even earlier. Selecting entire view crashes the app, while Avatar Selfie just opens the same camera interface as the virtual webcam feature. It has been crashing on activity launch since V79/81. So this is of course Luke Got Bored launching a hidden activity that isn't normally seen to us mere mortals, unless you have an activity launcher, which I recommend you guys install for yourself. But here you can see we have the option to launch entire view or Avatar Selfie, which will of course allow us to, when using a camera inside Android apps, instead of streaming just our avatar selfie, we'll be able to stream the entire view. So let's say you're streaming to someone on Discord, you'll actually be able to stream your gameplay, which is really sick, really cool. Instead of, having to go through a laptop or a computer and alternative software, you should just be able to do it right here. I do think it needs an overhaul. I think it's not reached its full potential just yet, and this would be a fantastic way of doing it. While we're at it, if we could get some kind of third-person floating camera kind of going behind us, maybe for recordings on Quest, probably way too much to ask, probably way too resource intensive, but who knows? I mean, if we're already having the avatar selfie camera, floating somewhere in front of us, why not also give us a camera kind of floating above our head behind us, using maybe some form of AI to leverage which angle is the best. I don't know, just a thought, would be really cool. And talking about hidden features, Luke Got Bored has also posted on X a really quick in-action photo of the whole entire 12 panels at work on Quest. This is of course something we spoke about, potentially being available in V83, and yeah, it looks magnificent and glorious and probably eats up all the resources. I have no idea how stable this could possibly be, but here it is in action. With V83, you'll be able to open up to 12 windows at the same time. It seems like this feature is still being rolled out, but it runs great on Quest 2. Well, if it runs great on Quest 2, then it must also work even better on the Quest 3. You'll be able to have 3 docked windows and up to 9 floating/anchored ones, home widgets included. Wow, that is absolutely crazy. I cannot imagine who would want to have all 12 windows open at once. I most certainly would be able to focus on like 3, and that's about it. Pretty crazy though. Reminds me kind of those, insane CCTV setups in movies. Imagine having each and every one of those windows show like a CCTV camera around your house. Can't wait for this one to roll out so that I can see what I can use it for. Retinal resolution is apparently getting a little bit of love. More research coming out about it, with Cambridge and Meta researchers confirming that retinal resolution is far higher than 60 ppd. Since Oculus widely demoed the DK1 over a year ago, we've seen the angular resolutions of affordable headsets advance from 6 ppd, an acuity that would classify a person as legally blind, to now 25 ppd, while higher-end headsets like the Apple Vision Pro and Samsung Galaxy XR reach around 35 ppd. The Vario XR4 even achieves 51 ppd in the center. But what's the limit past which the human eye can no longer see? Of course, the age-old question right next to how much FPS can your eye actually see? In the XR industry, people often say that it's generally accepted that the limit is 60 ppd, since in theory on paper, it offers 20/20 vision. Meta's butterscotch prototype from a few years ago with 56 ppd was described as near retinal. However, there has been significant skepticism about the 60 ppd figure among AR and VR experts for a long time now. Now, 3 researchers have conducted a study with 18 participants at the University of Cambridge, experimentally confirming the idea that 60 ppd is not the limit of human perception of detail. Of the 3 authors of the paper, one is a Cambridge researcher, one is from Meta's Applied Perception Science team, and the third is at both. The experiment placed a 27-inch 4K monitor on a 1.6 meter motorized sliding rail in front of the participants, who had their heads fixed on a chin rest and were asked to discern specific visual features head-on as the conditions were varied. The participants were presented with 2 different types of stimuli throughout the experiment: square wave grating patterns, both with and without color, and text, both white on black and black on white. The resolution was varied both by moving the display closer and further away, and by upsampling and downsampling the spatial frequency of the patterns. The researchers also adjusted the viewing angle between 0 degree, 1 degree, and 20 degree. For full details of the experiment methods, you should definitely read the paper, which I will leave down below, along with the Upload VR article. But yeah, I'm very excited to see more research going into this. More resolution is always great, but then, of course, we have the fact that more resolution requires more power. And we're already quite limited on power, with the clarity of Quest apps, for example, definitely not being as high as something on PCVR. So the question is, how far can we go until it makes sense? At least in a standalone headset. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love PCVR to make a comeback, but is that going to happen anytime soon? With basically every single headset manufacturer out there going standalone to some extent, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Assassin's Creed Nexus has joined a top 50 best-selling Quest games of all time. That's pretty good news. I mean, it was one of the more anticipated Quest VR titles out there. And talking about companies releasing PCVR headsets, Sharp is apparently starting a crowdfunding campaign for their own tethered PCVR headset. That's not something we see often nowadays. Called Cristela VR1, the headset features dual 2160 by 2160 LCD panels paired with light-efficient pancake lenses with a 90-degree field of view, 2 grayscale fisheye tracking cameras, and 1 color pass-through camera. The included controllers, meanwhile, seem to resemble Quest 2's, but with more hefty tracking grips and included hand grip straps. Sharp says the headset's body weighs just 198 grams, making it lighter than any shipping VR headsets except the Big Screen Beyond 2 and Shift-All Megan X. IPD adjustment between 58mm and 71mm is supported, as well as diopter adjustment from 0D to minus 9.0D. That's actually a very nice feature right there that I don't see enough on headsets. While Cristela VR1 is primarily designed for PCVR, Sharp says it will also be compatible with its Aquos Sense 10 smartphone, projecting the phone's display onto a fixed virtual screen. More smartphone models will be expanded sequentially, the company claims. It's unclear exactly who the Cristela VR1 is supposed to be for. Yeah, this is it's a very hard question that you kind of need to answer nowadays. And judging by even the resolution and the fact that it's running LCD panels, not micro OLED or anything like that, it's, and I'm gonna say it, not anything super special in the space right now. So I do wonder who this might actually be for. If the price is right, a lot of people might be willing to update to it from an older device, but that is only if the price is right. Other people will more than likely go for something like a Quest 3, where you get wireless PCVR, not tethered. So yeah. This is going to be quite an interesting one. I hope it doesn't flop for them though, as I hate to see companies jumping into virtual reality and then having their devices flop. But at the same time, you do need to know your market. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And if you like this one, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this button works too, but let me know why down below. If you're not yet part of our community, make sure to check out our Discord down below. And in case you want to be subscribed, make sure you still are, since YouTube has been unsubscribing people. Thank you so much to all the patrons and anyone else that supports this channel. You guys are amazing. Seriously, you are what helps me keep this content going. So thank you. Much love. And of course, our weekly live stream is going to be happening this week. Last week was super hectic, and of course Poland has Independence Day tomorrow, so we'll see how exactly we get around that, but we will. I'll keep you guys posted on the Discord. And as usual, if you want me to do future content coming up on the channel, smash the subscribe with your my ball and see you next video. Peace.
Ten skrypt nam właśnie skończył. Teraz podobno zrestartuje się do zhakowanego trybu Fast Boot. O kurde! Ale poleciało!